Hey folks, this is Lucid, and welcome back. We've got another turn for you here with Late Age Home, and it's an interesting turn. You can see a ton of gems. This is because we've been pretty active trading or forging things for people, which is a good way to kind of maintain relationships in the game. I'm usually doing things. This 30 nature gems, I actually forged an artifact for Micklin, so that's why I'm charging him a lot. But everything else I'm usually doing for like one gem a mage turn, so I'm doing it pretty cheap. We do get on top of it. I'm not using hammers for any of it because my hammers are busy with other stuff. So I'm not making a huge profit, but we also get a tiny one gem from the forge bonus our mages get. Rotterdam is back. The player who was playing him had to leave for a little bit, and of course we're getting the normal banter that he was sending out. And we finished researching Conjuration, so this gives me Conjuration 5, which means I can get Bane Lords. It's also going to mean a few other things, so like elementals and howl and things like that. So we'll look at that. But for the moment, we cast Sanguine Heritage, and the pretender we got, not the pretender, the vampire we got was this guy. And we went ahead and renamed him. He was something von Archenbach, and we have renamed him to Ghata von Archenbach because that is the player who is playing Sawaki. And we're going to pretend that this is where the first vampire kiss happened between the zombie dragon and he accidentally infected one of the natives. So anyway, this is where the real Ulmish Reich starts, right here with Ghata von Archenbach being our first vampire. So, anyway, there's that. In terms of how good of a vampire he is, he's not super great. He's nice because I think he's the most balanced of them. He's basically a vampire count chassis. He's D2, B2. He has population killer, which isn't much. This is just population killer 10. Otherwise, it would be kind of annoying. I don't think... Yeah, I don't think there's too much else to him that's different than other vampires. But, you know, he summons thralls and things like that, so that's cool. So anyway, we are very happy to have our first vampire. Now, we're going to be empowering him in blood, because once he's empowered in blood with the skull stuff, he's going to be able to summon the rest of the vampire counts. And then I can have my god off doing other things. Our god is going to do Sanguine Heritage this turn, so we get another vampire next turn. I think I want to maximize getting out I need the earth one, because I want to go ahead and make bloodstones. I really don't want to blood empower one of my other guys. So anyway, we're going to try to speed through and get them. Once they do, or like once we have the earth random, I'm probably going to start empowering my god in blood till I get him up to 5. And that's going to do a few things for me. One is it's going to open up all the blood boosters, because you can get, which we already have construction 6, so we could already get blood thorns. But this is going to open up Armor of Souls and the Brazen Vessel, which will be pretty nice. The other thing that's really nice about 5 is what I have found is with Blood 5, that is where you can reliably cast Hell Power. I think even in Drain, and it won't knock you out if you have the maximum number of slaves. And that is something we're going to be doing a lot of. So, not yet, but soon. And it will be one of our tools for murdering birds. So anyway, that's coming out. And we'll be damn near bird immune once we have hell power on him. So, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. The thing is, horrors can kill him unless we have... I think I need the charm crown on him. Because then he'll charm the horrors instead of them killing him. Because he's trampling ethereal stuff doesn't work very well. So anyway, that's kind of where he is. It is a little annoying that he tramples, to be honest. I mean, it would be better if he didn't and just attacked stuff. Especially for later in the game. But what are we going to do? I feel like if you trample, you almost never get spells off. And I want this guy to mostly be a caster. So we'll see how it works. I'm not exactly sure. We'll find out. So anyway, coming back through the turn events, we cast Dark Knowledge. We did not find anything. We found a magic site, a Moonvine Circle. This is a really good site. It gives you, first of all, 2 gems, and it gives you access to the Enchanter. And this is really, really nice. What it means, well, it means a lot of things. It means a lot of things. First thing it means I'm going to be building a lab here, which I think I am not queuing up this turn because we had another event which made me poor as shit, which we'll talk about. But the Enchanter, first of all, it kind of sucks. I mean, if I had this guy earlier, we wouldn't have empowered that other fine lady. Because we do have, in terms of just path access, we have this lady who we've double empowered now. It would have obviously saved gold for us to do it with this guy, but anyway, that's a sunk cost. He can do mass protection everywhere, right? So that's one thing. It's just being able to put up a turn 1 mass protection whenever I feel like it. It's really, really nice. It's going to be nice against things like Vanheim and stuff, like nations that don't have good fire access. It's going to be great against Calum, who doesn't have good fire access. There's a lot of things this guy will be really good against for that. Also, sorry, I've got the yawns. It's kind of late here. But also, being an Astral Mage, he can jump in communions and do big air magic. Which is kind of nice, because otherwise I have to rely on fortune tellers, which I kind of don't want to make too many of. So I have to either rely on fortune tellers, which, you know, it's like 1 in 4 of those are nature, so that's not great. Or I have to rely on my Jade Amazons, which I got, and put a communion matrix on them, which is also kind of annoying. So these guys are super awesome. Very, 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 very good for me to find. I mean, it's basically like finding shamans, which I would also be super stoked about, except in addition to just, you know, like finding a shaman, these guys are much better solo operators because of being able to do, I mean, even being nature to it really increases the buffing opportunities. They can do enlarge, and with the gym, they can cast regen. The tiny bit of gear, they can do mass regen and stuff. So, yeah, they're really good. I'm super stoked to get these guys. This is the first, I mean, aside from the Jade Amazon province, this is the first indie mage site I think we found. And we've done a lot of site searching, guys. That is a lot of site searching. All right, we've been very busy. So, anyway, this is awesome. We definitely want to fort this thing out. This is a place where blood hunting. I also need to be careful about not getting the unrest too high. We've increased our patrolling capacity here. But we're going to go back to the menu, and we're going to keep coming through. We got about 40 slaves last turn. We're going to need to start picking this up. This is not going to be enough, because we're about to be firing on 2 cylinders for vampire count summoning. The other thing my god can do is my god can start, or at least get me 1 or 2 Bane Lords, which would be really nice. If we end up running out of blood slaves, so I can't do 2 vampire counts a turn. And coming down, we have some battles. So I was worried last turn that we would bump Vanheim if we came here, because I was thinking Vanheim was going to vulture, but Vanheim is not in the vulturing mood. It's kind of cool, because I am like... Some players don't vulture that much. I am not that kind of player normally. I like a good vulture. And we summon imps on them, and that's basically it. They get wrecked. And then we have a battle here in Lish, where there's just a few random dudes. And that's about how that goes. Were those really fancy sacreds? Well, let's take a look. I can't remember. I don't think much of their bliss was incarnate. Yeah, I don't think so. Nothing of importance was really incarnate. So, but you can see we didn't take any losses. And then we have the last stand of Bod, which is no longer being controlled by a player. That's just the AI. So these guys are all running in here. I don't even know what these things are. Water weird? I don't even know what those are. Reform? Huh. So anyway, these knights stand here while they get blasted by these wyverns. And then they kill everything, as more arcs tend to do. What's interesting is he has these Salus. I don't know what these are, but I think he gets these from a special site. So yes, just lucking into all the things this game. He's gotten Garnet Sorceresses already. Apparently he's gotten these guys. Which kind of sucks that the player went AI, because a human definitely would have scripted this better. Like, put gems on his stuff. Anyway. I mean, it was a shitty position for Bod, because... Oh wait, did they actually win this? No fucking way. No fucking way. Oh my god. I thought this was the end of Bod. I saw it, I saw the battle report, and I was like, oh, clearly they lost. I think the panic spin worked. Please tell me I'll get this fucker. Even while routing, can't be hurt. For the love of God. Oh my god. So ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Alright, well, he's gonna bust through next turn, or the turn after. And then we get to the events. We had the bad event. Dryads are no longer lingering in these woods. Is there a fertility cult here? Oh, nature mage may be able to call some secrets from her. Huh, shit. Alright. My farmers have angered a wild entity. A monster boar is now ravaging the province. Awesome. Alright, we're going to patrol this guy out this turn, though. And down here, a scorching desert. We lose... Desert wind has destroyed some population. Excellent. And we got some nature gems. So in general, pretty bad events. But not horrible. And I have something to tell you guys. And that is, we have figured out what throne this is. Because we have our little spy here. And for those of you who don't know, if you have a spy, they can tell what sites are in enemy provinces or neutral provinces, including thrones. And it is the Shattered Throne. I think this is really good. I think this is really good for us. But I also think it's really bad. Or Misfortune 2, it's going to want us to go Misfortune 3. I hate Misfortune 3, guys. I hate it so much. But no matter how much I hate it, Blood Magic 30 is way better. It's so much better. I mean, it is such a big deal. Let's talk a little bit. That's kind of why I wanted to record this as a standalone episode. Because I just need to let it soak in how important this is. What it's going to mean is Malediction will be cheap to put up potentially. So we may go Malediction. I don't know. Malediction kind of sucks. What it really means is that like Curse of Vampirism is going to be super cheap. So what you do for this is we put Infernal Circle down, and this is going to increase the range of everything cast by 1. And then we can also do the Blood Pendant or something, and that's going to increase the range by 1. And that's going to turn this into a 6-range spell, which will be pretty long. And these guys come with Death Gems, and they come with Blood Slaves. And then in addition, we get a bunch of Vampire units. This can be really good. But what it means is that instead of this costing 75, as it should, it's going to cost... we're going to get a 30% discount, which in this case will be about 20 gems off, 21 gems off. So, yeah. Be pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. It'll turn this into a 54 gem spell. Something like that. And we're going to get basically a Blood Hunter. It's so good. It's so good. What it means is we're actually going to be able to turn our Blood Slaves into Death Gems at a reasonably efficient rate. it's a big deal. It's a pretty big deal. And then in addition, we're getting mages and stuff. We're going to probably do this like crazy. And I don't know who... This makes me think I'm going to play more aggressive. I was planning on kind of being chill on this planet. But... And you don't have to target an enemy province to like raid, but I don't know why you wouldn't. So... This is probably going to significantly reduce how chill we are, is what I'm trying to say. We were probably going to be not as chill as I thought we were going to be. So this is one of the major things. It's going to take this from being like a reasonably priced 75 and putting it at like 50, 54, 53. And the other thing that's going to be kind of intense is Curse of Blood, which I think this got made more expensive. I have to actually look. I think in vanilla, it's like 80 something, but I think they increased the cost of it. I'm quite sure they did. It was not 99. There's people that cry about vampires, blah, 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 blah. I don't think they're worth crying about, but everybody has their own game experience. That being said, this becomes very reasonably priced. At 90, from 99, it's going to go from 99 down to 70, which would be pretty darn good. That's cheaper than it is in vanilla. But I do think this is going to outshine this. The other thing that's going to be interesting is anytime I find a province with a lab, especially if I get this cornerstone, I can raid something, and then if it has a lab, this guy who I used to raid with Curse of Vampirism, it's going to be a commander in that lab, and they can immediately drop a fort. So we can like rapidly colonize an area. The complexity of doing this is my vampires are going to be bound to the province I summon them to. So if they die in the attack, I have found they do not reanimate. They don't come back. If they die following the attack, I need to be in control of that province. So anyway, that's something to think about. There's other stuff too. Blood Harvest. Chance of tax boost. This seems like it might be okay. The harvest of swollen crops will find madness and deformity afflicting their offspring. The growth and turmoil scales increase based on the strength of your dominion. With high growth scales, mishap and creatures may appear. Growth effects of this spell are more prevalent in the spring, while in the autumn, the harvests will be more bountiful. This spell lasts until someone dispels it or the caster dies. I mean, this is another something we could put up. Anyway, I think it... the other thing that it does that I think is super worth talking about here is Sin Lesser Horror. This is, in my opinion, one of the... this is one of the late age home staples, and it's something we can do and just like with brutal efficiency. What I don't know is if it's going to take it from 9 to 7 or if it's going to take it from 9 to 6. It depends how it rounds, and I kind of want to figure that out, but we'll figure it out later. 6 gems would be just criminally underpriced for Sin Lesser Horror. 7, less so. So anyway, that's pretty darn cool. The other spell, of course, to talk about is Summon Black Riders. And this is pretty cool. I think, in my opinion, this spell is overshadowed by this spell. Curse of Vampirism is more mage turn efficient. And then we get items and gems and blood slaves back. So... yeah, I mean, when you think about it, because I'm going to pull up a test game. I'm just going to show you. I've actually finished this turn, so I'll just click end turn here. But in a test game, you will see. All right. So here, we're going to cast it on this province here. I've been testing some of the broken shit I've been planning on doing, so we'll get to that later. Here we go. Curse of Vampirism. Okay, so here's the battle. And this is what it summons. So it's random how many you get. We got like a max dice roll here, almost, on the number of dudes. Okay, in this case, we got a Death 1, Blood 2. So I think it's a pretty good roll on the randoms here for this guy, and 1 Death Gem. So not great. Oh, but we got Blood Slaves too. You can see we got 6 Blood Slaves. So after combat, we lost a few thralls. We didn't lose any vampires. And now if we go to this province... Oh shit, he spent all of his stuff. A lot of times they don't. A lot of times they don't. We're going to cast it kind of in mass right here. And this would be if I was hitting a province that had like a lot of PD, but I probably wouldn't do this for a province that had like an army, because it would still die to that. Oh, wait, whoops. Okay, yeah. So if we do it in a friendly province, like look at this. We got a Scythe of Unlife. That's a 5 gem item. It's not really great. This is actually an argument for casting it in friendly provinces, not on enemy ones, because you're gonna get, they're not gonna spend these gems. So you can see on average, we got like 2 death gems. And we got 9, 4, 3. So we'll call that like 5 slaves on average. I went through and tested this a lot before the game started. But like, we'll call it 5 slaves on average. So now when we get the cost of it, because we're looking at this with us having this discount site. Yeah, so, oh, I'm clicking on the wrong damn thing. So this goes to 50, like we'll call it 53. I'm not sure whether it's 54 or 53. Anyway, we'll call it 53. It goes to 53. We get a reimbursement back of 5. So that's going to bring us from 53 down to 48. And then we get 2 death gems back on average, which if those are worth 4 blood slaves, which you could argue it's worth more than that, then that brings us down to 44 slaves. So then you're saying, okay, well, we got 44 slaves, and then we also have the chance of an item, right? Because you saw we spawned with an item. To get on average 3 vampires, which is pretty nice. A fair amount of ghouls, and ghouls are actually units that I like, because we can use these to hold up fort walls, and this doesn't destroy population, I do not think. I do not think. And by the way, this is all Dominion's enhanced stuff. This is not in vanilla. Yeah. So, yeah, anyway, we get a bunch of ghouls. We can stick these in forts. We get a bunch of thralls, which, you know, we're going to have more thralls than we know what to do with, but, you know, it can help get chaff production set up, and blood hunting operations set up. And then we get these guys who are amazing. Like, they're almost as good like this guy's almost as good at blood hunting as a vampire lord, which a lot of times is what you have vampire lords doing. And by the way, wait, do they not? Oh shit, I thought these guys made thralls. It does not appear that they do. One second, we'll intern real quick. Yeah, no thralls. Ah, shit. Oh well. I actually don't know how these guys will do against knights. I think these guys will do okay. We're going to break out here. Show these guys off against knights. And then we'll go back to the game. Yeah, they're going to get wrecked by these guys. Or will they? Or will they? Yeah, vampires are pretty good. Things with magic weapons will murder them, though. But do we lose any? We lost 1. And I think he'll come back in like a turn. Let's see how they respawn. 2. But where's the home province of these guys? Because he should have respawned by now. Scythia. I wonder if he respawned in possession of the unit. Well, anyway, I'm not exactly sure. I kind of want to figure this out. Let's get these guys killed off real quick. Okay, they'll die real fast. No. The fuck? This is impossible. This actually is kind of hard to kill. Oh, they sniped the commanders, those bastards. Okay, 1 second. Those bastards. And let's just have this guy patrol out in front. I know this is probably not what you tuned in for. Okay, they're dead. Just make sure they... Okay, one guy respawned. But that was probably the guy from way back when. Okay, we've got them all back now. We've got 8 total. All right. So they're back. So anyway, pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's... So anyway, what's the conclusion of all of this garbage that we've been talking about? Well, funny that you ask. I think it's that when you factor in like the full cost of this, we're paying with the blood discount site, we're paying like 44 or something, like 44 slaves for the units, excluding the ghouls and the thralls. But we don't get thrall production like we would at the vampire count. Which I don't recall from the test games. I thought they did. But we get a boatload of vampires. And if I actually like the vampire units, the problem with the vampires in vanilla and why nobody ever gets them is because you would almost always want to get instead a vampire lord. Because I think in vanilla it's like 80 slaves or something for a vampire lord with Curse of Blood. It's more expensive in DE, so now you would consider it. The other thing, where's Blood Right? Is this how you get vampires? In vanilla, it's 11 for 1. So it's very mage turn inefficient. It's more efficient in DE. But if you were to say on average, we get, I think it's like 3.5 on average. The number of vampires we get, it's 1d6. So anyway, 3.5 on average. Then the amount, like the blood slave value just for the vampires we're getting is like 40, just about. And now we would get it cheaper because, we would cast this spell, with the discount. But on top of that, we're getting somebody who could blood hunt and is a vampire commander, and we may get an item. So I think, in general, it's a phenomenal spell to cast. The other spell we can, of course, get... we can also get Blood Right to make a little vampire horde. We can also get Black Riders. These guys are cool. They have shields. And they have 2 attacks. They have a life drain. Well, let's go back to our damn test game since we'll look at them later. But that's another thing I can get. Is these Black Riders. So these are all things that I'm probably going to be using my blood slaves on. In my opinion, this changes a lot. It changes a whole lot. I'm probably going to switch research priorities to start blasting down blood. I'm also probably going to be more aggressive. But I want to do a quick... I've kind of rambled about this for a while, like the blood stuff and all that. But I want to talk now a little bit about diplomacy and how this is... There's a lot happening in the world, and I kind of want to do a bit of a Diplo update. First of all, Calum is huge. We now have a full coalition to go against Calum. It's Alkera, it is Kailasa, it is Rotterdam, and it is me. And we are all going to yoink on Calum. Now, I don't have a border with Calum yet, but Calum has a bunch of this stuff over here. Unfortunately for me, Vanheim has this one province. So I don't know what I'm going... I can pass through here, and this is all Gondwana stuff. So I need to eat the Gondwana stuff, pass over up here, and then ideally I attack Kalem and I take all this stuff north of the lake. That is my current plan for what to do. And I also want to get this throne. We'll talk about how to get that later. But that's my intermediate plan. If I can't get through here, either this... because this should be heat, so I should be able to travel through this mountain pass. If for whatever reason I can't, then instead, I'll have to see if Vanheim will let me pass, which I don't think he would be excited about. I don't think he would let me. So anyway, we'd have to figure out what that means. But then I have to figure out the next play, and I'm much more inclined to be aggressive on my planet with this. Because it makes me want to do... like, you can play Ulm and not really focus on blood too much and just do... I mean, Ulm is a blood nation. But you can focus on the troops for longer, which is what my plan was, right? Focus on my troops. And you can see we've been doing that. We've been using our mages with some kind of low-tech stuff in our troops. And I was going to continue that, like maybe go up Alteration next or something. Sorry, I got the yawns. But this means I probably want to go down blood. I think I don't want to waste having this site. And I also kind of want to claim it. I don't want to claim it unless I have blood, because I kind of want the pearls per... well, I mean, I already have a shit ton of pearls per turn. But we're not going to claim this until we start getting ready to cast a lot of blood spells. But, you know, if I have this... the problem with like the immortal stuff, which a lot of almost everything I was talking about was immortal, whether it's the vampire lords, whether it's doing the remote vampire summon, those are immortal. The Black Riders are immortal. The problem once I do a hard transition into blood, then those units are going to be linked to where I summon them. So like, let's say I summon them here and then I send them on a journey off planet. Well, that's not super great. Now, I have things I can do to get around that. One of the things that I can do is I can potentially... it's in construction. Astral. We can make an astral gate. And an astral gate is expensive. You can put one of these golems in it, which gives you a very, very slight... recuperation of the cost of the astral gate. So we could put an astral gate here, and we can use this to gateway to other labs. Now, what that would mean is that I could have this set up, this province right here. I could have this set up to be my my blood casting province. And then from it, I can gateway those units back out to my war front. So doing that, I could actually have a war front that I continuously reinforced on another planet. And we'll talk about the other planet, Diplo, as we go, because that's, I think, going to play an important role in some of the decisions we're going to make. But if I don't do that, and I may do that, I've got a ton of pearls, it probably makes sense to do. I could go ahead and get a golem set up to harvest it, and I think... I mean, if we look at we'll look at this real quick before we skim past it. It's 30 gems investment, and oh wait, no, that's a golem. Sorry, I can't read. Okay, so occasionally we get attacked by horror, so I have to set up a horror defense squad, which is annoying. This is, by the way, it's bugged. It doesn't work how it's supposed to. Okay, so it looks like it's a one-time cost of 25. And then after that, I get, for 12 gems... okay, this actually probably makes sense to do. But we can only have one golem per... if you could stack these, this would be amazing, but you can't. So anyway, it's 3.5 gems a turn, which is a pretty fast payback period for just the golem, but it's not very fast when you can only have one golem. If you can only have one golem, the payback is, well, it's still 10 turns, which is not horrible. But you're going to get attacked by horrors and stuff. So I probably need to read up more on the event, but it seems like there's probably something I want to do. We're going to be able to do it soon because we're hitting Construction 7 soon. And the problem with doing it here, can I do it? I can't remember if you can do it. This was the other thing I needed to read. I don't think you can do it if there's a fort. Okay, we're going to test it. We can only be cast at a dimension. Okay, yeah, this is the trick. Can only be cast at dimensional instability. Oh, but it might be able to stay up past the dimension. So dimensional instabilities are right here. Okay, we're going to go test this on a test game because it's actually going to be important. And we will see how this works together. Okay, and so I've got it set up. So we've got a lab here. So the first step is we need a dimensional instability. Now these are interesting because if a fort's ever constructed, it will go away. But you can harvest from them an astral pearl. So anyway, we'll make that. And where are we? Dimensional instability. Okay, so we make this. We have a dimensional instability. And now on top of it, we should be able to make an astral gate. And, oh shit. So this actually is going to kill the return on this. So it's not a good gem investment for like trying to make money. Because you're going to have to put in one gem for every turn you want it to stay up. So I put in some here. And what you get is you get this thing, this teleporting thing, which can gateway stuff. So we could put things on it here, and it's basically a one-way... Oh, it can't even gateway undead. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Can't gateway undead. Who says you can't bring undead through the gate? Boo. All right. Well, I don't even have a way to fix this. So this makes it even... I'm glad we pulled this up, though, because now it's like... What am I going to do? Shuttle thralls through this thing? So anyway, you can do... I don't want to do that. Cast spell gateway. You do this, and basically every turn, it's going to shuttle them over, and then they pop out up here, and oh, it's back, ready to shuttle again. So anyway, it's a one-way way to do this. We'll see how this works, though. If I do... We can make a golem, and then the golem will start giving me a little bit of money every turn. We found some astral pearls, great. But you can only have one of those per province. Now, if I make a fort on top of this, we should lose the dimensional instability. I don't know if we lose the gate. I don't think we'll lose the gateway. But that was what I kind of made this to test. Yeah, the astral gate is still up, but the dimensional instability is gone. So, I mean, ultimately it doesn't work. It's the thing, because this doesn't... You can't bring undead. Which is... It's racist against undead is what it is. But what it means is it's going to be very hard. I mean, I guess we could do... There may be some other one with Stygian Paths or something. I think there's the Ferryman or something. Yeah. An undead creature that can use a Stygian ship to cross the underworld. We'll make one of these real quick. There were a few things that are in Bozmos, which is a mod specifically for playing on these super huge maps. Anyway, there's a few things. Yeah, okay. So this guy... Stygian Path. Spirit attack, 1 AN plus... Caster cannot take advantage. So he would be able to take these guys and zip them around. So doing something like this, we could potentially... You know, bring things that are dying back to the war front. Anyway, that's an idea. If we had like a huge vampire swarm. And this guy can bring a lot of vampires. So that's an idea. But going back to the game, and hopefully it doesn't crash, because every time I've loaded something up like 3 times, it always wants to crash. Do. All right, here we go. So, where were we? We were talking about Diplo, the greater happenings of the world, and then we got sucked into how this is going to make me more aggressive. So, yeah, if we take this, if we go down blood, let's say we've conquered Calum, stuff up here, and they've conquered most of the rest of Calum. I have 2 options. I have one option to basically attack Vanheim. I have more options, but one option is to attack Vanheim. But Vanheim, I'm not going to attack Vanheim if he is busy conquering squids, because that is doing God's work. And I don't know if he knows it, but I was seriously considering attacking him. And him going after the squids, if that's indeed what he's doing, will buy my friendship almost indefinitely until the squids are gone. So anyway, that's a thing. The other option is I can then come down here and attack Rotterdam, which I'm not terribly excited about, because Atlantis will probably vulture part of it. But a lot of this will depend, because like if Atlantis is attacking them and they're not able to hold the underwater portion, which I don't think they would, I may come and vulture the land portion, like all of Italy and Greece. And they're probably like, if this war with Calum's successful, they're going to have Turkey. So, you know, I might get all of this afterwards. That's an option. It's also possible I like the Rotterdam player. I mean, I like the Vanheim player too. So it's also possible I stay friends with these guys for a long time. I'm not sure how that'll play out. I also really like this player too. But I could, if I chose to, come down and attack him. There's things I don't like about this, like it's all oceanfront. I don't really like oceanfront property. But we could basically make a play to conquer this planet. And, you know, we could start by getting all of this and then pushing through this way. This land, it's kind of sad, but in a way, like, if Vanheim is successful conquering Relay, this land becomes a lot more valuable, because I don't really want to have a big neighbor with the squid. I mean, a big border with the squids. But if he's not successful, then, I mean, so if he is successful, I'm like, okay, well, maybe it makes sense to attack him now. If he's not successful, then it probably doesn't. I could burrow in here, take the Rotterdam stuff. I do want to get most of Gondwana, which is like all of this. So we'll see. That's going to be part of this first play. After that, I could decide to push through here and become very long, which you normally wouldn't want to do, but that actually could be financed by Malediction. And I could just be dropping vampires everywhere. Or have like a little swarm which flies out. Anyway, getting all of this. Once I start getting big enough, though, the coalition will be against me. And I probably won't have a lot of luxury in terms of who I'm going to fight. And I probably would have, like, Atlantis attacking me and all this other garbage. So that brings me to the bigger question, which is, should we go off-world? And if so, where should we go? And there's a lot of interesting things. One is I was talking to people on the Abyssia, who's on the Fall of Sarl. They are kind of... I've tuned them up to they are a very logical war target to Vanheim. This was before I knew that Vanheim was going against Relay, potentially maybe going against Relay. So anyway, they're thinking about this as a potential war target. So anyway, if they do that, we could collaborate. they also no, okay, never mind. We don't really have a great link to that planet. From this star, I can go a few places. I can go here to go after Marignon. Volanus is an interesting planet. Volanus Marignon is huge. Marignon is like this approximately. This is late age Marignon. Niflheim is over here. They're like this big maybe. And Mictlan is very big. Mictlan is like this early age Mictlan. I've been trading a lot with early age Mictlan and talking a fair amount with him. He is probably the biggest, and I think he's kind of like this big. So he has probably most of the planet, and I think this is mostly all his stuff. He had been fighting Scalaria, and they mostly have Scalaria contained, but they're not completely contained. I don't know the full story on this. Scalaria is making a tiny bit of a resurgence, and everybody has now entered into war against Mictlan, who's the biggest on the planet. But I'm not actually sure if Mictlan's much bigger than Marignon. I feel like Marignon, in my opinion, I'm actually like a little more scared of Marignon than of Mictlan. But this is all very interesting because it means we could potentially make a holding in this planet. The challenge with that will be how, like, bind Shadow Imp. Like, how far is it from? Okay, it's actually not that far. 5, 8, 10, 8. 8 is pretty far. But I think I was making a Shadow Imp here. I'm just gonna sacrifice a Shadow Imp because I don't think I can afford right now a normal Scout. Anyway, yeah, so potentially from here, if from here we can cast all the way up into here with important spells, which are going to be like Send Lesser Horror. Where are we? It's only 5. I thought it was 6. This is range 6, and we can boost it up too. So we can get this to 8, which means we can hit most of the planet with Send Lesser Horror. So that's good. So anyway, that's an option. This one is not as long range. Curse of Vampirism is only 4. We're only going to be able to get this up to 6, really. And that's going to put this mostly out of range of that. But Send Lesser Horror can be really good for raiding. The problem is, well, the problem is going to be troop logistics, right? How do we get over there? We can do some of that again through a gateway, but that'll only be normal troops. We can't take our undead. So I'm not sure, is I think the short summary of it all. And the other thing is, before we can even do the gateway stuff, I've got to come and pick up dimensional instability. Anyway. So we'll have to see. We might make some of those, but for now, we're going to chill. So anyway, this is an option. Come over here and basically attack Marignon. We could probably make it... The problem is, like, our conventional armies can only go a few places, which is why I'm talking about this. The places we can magic phase with Send Horror are much broader. The other option, I think, is hitting a Ghata. And apparently a Ghata is attacking also Mictlan. So in some ways, me attacking either a Ghata or Marignon would be backstabbing the Alliance against early age Mictlan. And apparently Mictlan's blood hunting like crazy. Like hundreds of slaves. I think he's at 200 slaves a turn or something. He and I have been talking a fair amount. So on one hand, that is terrifying. So it's good that they're doing something about it. On the other hand, if they start getting too successful, then it means we don't really have to worry about, by attacking one of them, we would let Mictlan run away with the game. So, this is another good option. And if we look at one of the things I kind of want to look at is for the thrones. Like, see if anybody has thrones that we want. I think this is middle age. This is a garbage throne. Middle age Marignon, they're kind of close to me. Rotterdam has Throne of the Earth, which, Earth gnomes are pretty good. But we already kind of have Earth. And we kind of, especially with those enchanters, we kind of have nature. The Throne of Bones, we don't, that's actually a garbage throne for us. Throne of Death. That would actually be kind of nice. I can't remember. I can't remember where. I thought this might be Dom Danielle, but I think it's Agartha. I think Dom Danielle was the nation that had that Throne of Death. But yeah, I definitely don't want Death 1, unless I can find another throne to counteract with growth. I wonder if this is scout anything special now. So, we've got some figuring out to do. But the first thing is going to be kind of simple. It's going to be trying to get through this choke point here and seeing how much we can get into Caleb's business. We're going to be turning up blood production. We're setting up another blood economy site here. And we're going to get that humdinging along. These you can see are going okay. And I think, yeah, that's basically it. I think we're going to be just turning up the aggression. We're going to be getting after Caleb. We're going to be getting more blood hunting going. Oh, the final thing I guess to talk about too is the throne. It's got an Enuki of the Sky, which not that scary. Not that scary. The thing I'm going to need in here though is Friendly Dominion, which will be reasonably easy to get. But I'm going to need to probably kill off Sawaki. And once Sawaki is dead, their dominion will be gone, and then I can just put temples here. And we're already building a temple here. And anyway, we'll be able to preach. I mean, maybe I can even figure out a way to make a shade mail. Like if I get the right vampire that has the earth vampire, he can make shade mail for me. And we can sneak in a preacher to preach here. So anyway, that would be nice. Because once I get my dominion here, I think I just send my dragon. And yeah, he should kill everything. So kind of stoked about that. It would be great to get the Enuki of the Sky, but sadly I think that is out of our skill range. What's important is we have to survive all these Spring Hawks, which is kind of annoying. One thing I need to figure out, and I'll do it off screen, but I don't know if you can stack the Storm Spool, which is 15 shock resistance, with, I think you can. In fact, I'm quite sure you can, with the Ring of Lightning, Tamed Lightning, which I'm probably going to have to make. So, or the other thing I could make, there's the Acorn thing that gives you shock resistance too, which I think this lady could have made. Anyway. Yeah, so I need to get him more shock resistance. I don't want him to get zapped by lightning bolts. And then we just have him run in. And I also probably need to get Alt 5. Maybe need to get Alt 5. I just have him run in, and ideally I drop Iron Warriors on him. But if I can't do that, I can maybe try Hell Power. And that'll get my protection up right around 20. And then as long as I'm regenning, it'll be fine. And we'll just go run over everything. Yeah, I think that's basically how that would work. And then we take this, we claim the throne, and we start getting this ridiculous blood bonus. But we can do that all in reasonably short order, probably in the next 5 turns. We're going to ping it next turn, and then we're going to come up with a kit for going and hitting, or we're going to get our Dominion in there, and then as soon as our Dominion gets in there, which will probably involve killing Sawaki. One other thing I should mention is this fort I had wanted to take. We're moving some armies up here. This fort I'd wanted to take, but Rotterdam, I basically handed it to Rotterdam. He wanted it, and I said fine. Because these guys being friendly with me and dealing with Calum is really important. I need them to work together to kill Calum. What I do not want to have happen is Calum to eat them one by one. Because Calum is probably the biggest nation on our planet. So if Calum eats them one by one, I'm going to be really sad. So keeping him happy, giving him what he needs to fight Calum. And anyway, we want to do that. So that is kind of our strategy for this. He also has this, and he has this lake system. So he's kind of big, actually. And we got his score graph, so I can actually pull those up. Provinces, he's a good bit smaller than me now, but not crazy smaller. Like Sawaki was a true small nation. He's like a middle nation. I'm a big nation, but I'm not as big as like Yes. Forts, you can see he's actually got a ton of forts. Not as many as me, but a ton. Income, he had this. Okay, we didn't talk. We had an event for constant darkness this turn, which slammed our income, and he absolutely slammed it. Gym income has been phenomenal for us. You can see we're just completely in a different league than he is for gym income. We've been site searching like crazy. Research, you can see he's actually doing really well. We're probably inflecting up a bit harder. People are researching really hard this game. Really hard. I thought I was going to be doing well. I am like middle of the pack on research. Dominion, we can't see that. And then army size, you can see he's down here. So anyway, yeah, they're hopefully going to be our ally for a while, and hopefully we get to push through over here. And I think I've repeated myself many a time, so I think we're good now. Final thing I'll show you: research up. We're at 1480. Next turn, hopefully we're up past 16, or right around 1600. But unfortunately, we weren't able to recruit mages, and we had to first of all switch to bad mages in every fort because we just don't have enough money with this stupid darkness. My disposable income is almost nothing now. So anyway, final thing. We are storming the fort. We're doing it with a few wolves that are going to be in front. We've got the staff stuff on them. They're probably going to get mulched though. And then we're doing legions of steel on top of these guys. They're going to run in. But I think what's actually going to win the day for us is these members of the second tier who are going to drop some body ethereal, but they're also going to summon imps from using blood slaves, but more importantly from the lifelong protection. And these are just so good for storming castles. So just dropping a ton of these guys inside will hopefully get this to us, and then we'll jump our nature income up by 2 and death income by 1, which will be really good. We're starting to get a fair amount of nature. We'll have 14, which would be really good for nature once we get that site, and then 18 death. So very, very, very nice. And yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the series so far, and I will see you next time.